What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as you guys can see right here, we have this Widebody 350Z back in for more upgrades. And as you guys can see, we did end up adding the splitter kit. It's basically the front splitter, side splitters, and a diffuser to this car. So these are the Spirit Ray front splitters. And then we got the side splitters. So you guys see this thing is literally on the ground now that it's aired out. And we also got the rear diffuser on this thing. And the wing. I don't think I mentioned the wing, but we also got the wing as well. But we also have the diffuser too. So this thing has slowly been getting more and more upgrades. Quick interior, we got seats, harnesses, looking nice. We also ended up getting carbon fiber eyelids to kind of complete that look. And now, car is back here to get even more upgrades to make this thing look show ready, and that starts with the engine bay. So right here we have the AAM intake manifold, polished Z1 intakes, a bunch of titanium stuff from Masterpiece Automotive. We got the coolant pipe, we got the hood prop, we got the forgot exactly what the name of this thing is, the air diversion thing, coolant tank, power steering tank, all done in titanium. And we also got a spare timing cover that's going to be getting sent out to get polished. So we're going to polish this thing out. Basically going to look like that shiny right there. And we are going to be doing the cam covers in the Illusion purple. So those are going to be purple polished timing cover. So we're going to send this out to get polished. We're going to send the timing cover to get polished as well and get that started. So in the meantime, what we are going to be doing, as you guys can see here, we have the engine bay basically fully stocked. This is an 07, it's an HR, so it's not a swap. It's a regular 350Z with an HR swap. The only thing is, this radiator is from a 04 350Z. They bought this car crashed from the front, so then the guy that previously did the work, they ended up putting an 04 radiator on here, and it's not meant for the HR, so that's why you got this custom coolant hose right here that's not supposed to go there. But radiator is on its way, along with Mishimoto thermostat as well. So it's like a little bundle pack that came together, so that's going to be on its way. So wire tuck is going to be first, but before that we're going to go drop these off to get polished, and then we'll get started on the wire tuck. All right, so we just got done with the wire tuck process. So as you guys can see, it doesn't have the spider web things looking over here, and same on this side, but had to relocate some of them, including the big ground that would go like right there like that. So that one is removed as well. Same with the ground that was bolted up right here. It's now tucked away. So now that we got that, this, those two, that one out of the way, we can actually start putting the intakes back on. We are waiting on for the other intake manifold to come in and the lower receiver. So for the meantime, I'm gonna be putting the regular Z1 intakes, these, on there to make sure I have everything I need to get this still looking the way it's supposed to be. So it's been a couple weeks actually. We finally have the car back, and we finally have all the polished parts back. So we got polished timing cover, we got the polished AAM intake manifold. Ended up getting the lower receiver, and they give it a quick polish as well, since that is going to be a lot more visible once it's on. And then we have all the rest of the titanium parts that we're going to finally be throwing on. So let's get this opened up, show you guys where we're at. All right. So last we left off was the whole wire tuck process, and then we got rid of a bunch of stuff on the sides, brackets, and everywhere. We put the Z1 intakes back on, but for now we're going to start tearing this thing apart. Again, we're going to do the intake manifold first. I never saw any instructions on this thing, so I'm gonna have to figure it out as I go. And since we are going to be swapping out the other lower receiver, we need to pop out the current one, get the fuel rails out, put the fuel rails on the new one. Hopefully we have no issues with that, and that way we can put the intake manifold on. Because if you try putting that intake manifold on this HR, it does hit one of the bolts for it's hit specifically at 10 millimeter. That's right there. So other than that, it bolts right up. But when you have that little piece of the fuel rail hitting, that's something you don't really want to mess with. So let's get started on tearing this thing apart from the top. Get the lower receiver, fuel injectors, all that situated. We'll put the intake manifold back on, put it all back together, make sure it starts, and then we'll start doing the timing cover.
Why?
All right, so I wanted to show you guys a little dilemma that I ran into. So the VHR lower receiver is fine. It lines perfectly up inside where it's supposed to go. The AAM intake manifold sits perfectly on top, but the only problem is the fuel rail from an HR does not line up. So if you look at this one, see how it's dented downward right here? And on the VHR one, it's flush on top. So this is where the fuel rail is supposed to bolt up to. But, all right, so we ended up picking up a VHR fuel rail. See how the fuel dampeners are up here on this one, and it's a lot bulkier. On this one, it's a lot slimmer, and the fuel dampeners are in the middle and on the bottom end. So they're out of the way. So they're, you don't have this hitting and all that. So now we should be able to just pop these injectors off, put them on this one, put it on the lower receiver, and then we should be fine. Everything should plug in, everything should bolt up. Only problem is, I was looking at these fittings. We have quite a bit of openings for a VHR. These are mounting brackets for other stuff. This is mounting brackets, but these are hole openings that need to be plugged up as well. So I need to go get some for that. And then here is supposed to go a sensor, which the HR does not have. So I need to figure out a way to plug this giant hole up. This one's it's like a sensor, yeah. So it goes in and then bolts up to right here. So I need to figure out how to plug this up, and then we should be fine. So once I have all this bolted up and tested out, throttle bodies are on and everything, I do want to take the throttle bodies to get polished up. So then once we have all this done, we'll get started on the timing cover. All right, so we finally got the intake manifold on. We ended up swapping out that one back vacuum line with the plug, and I had a spare braided hose, and it ended up fitting just perfect for that area right there. So I think it's for the brake booster. So that vacuum line is connected to that. This one is going to go for this evap one, which is right here. So that's where this one's going to go. It splits off into a Y, and it has one right here, right there. But since we have it right there, might as well just connect it directly right there and get rid of the Y split for no reason. So we have that on there. These coolant hoses, we plugged them up. So this one, I still need to plug these up. They're basically, you don't really necessarily have to put a plug on it, but it just looks cleaner with the plugs than having no plugs. And then the coolant hose, where it would go into here, we connected it to the back one, because that back one was split into a Y and go into here and here, and that one would go back into that thing, and then this one would come out from this coolant pipe straight into this. So we ended up connecting it just end to end to get rid of that. Let's get started on firing this thing up, making sure everything's good. Looks like we got no issues whatsoever with the manifold. So it took a little finessing, because this bracket is for the 3.5, not the 3.7. So it's shaped for the HR fuel rails, not the VHR fuel rails. So I kind of had to bend it a little bit, unbolted it from here, lined it up right here, bolted it on, and then kind of like finessed it a little bit. Make sure not to pinch your lines if you guys are gonna run this VHR manifold on your HR. All right, so now that we got the intake manifold set up, we're gonna get started on the timing cover, but I am gonna skip that process because it is a lot, and this is already a pretty long video as it is. So we are getting a new Mishimoto radiator as well, because this is for a DE engine, not the HR engine. So we have a new radiator as well for this, and we're going to be throwing on all the titanium parts. So I'm going to throw it on a time lapse and go from there, because it is a whole process to do the timing cover and going step by step. I've done plenty of these, so you guys, there's other videos on my channel that you guys can go check out, because it is a process, removing all the bolts, all the pulleys. You know, you have to remove the oil pan to get to 2 bottom bolts that are inside and through the oil pan in order to get the timing cover off, and then you got to reseal it with the gasket maker right here. So it's a big ass process, but let's throw it on time lapse and go from there. Whoa, so that is definitely not good. So these are the cheap paper mache style gallery gaskets. So they're the original ones that were defective from factory, so they tend to go bad and start sticking outward like that, and then you lose oil pressure and you result in basically blowing up your engine because of oil starvation. So luckily we caught it, so now we got to go to the dealership, pick up the new and updated gallery gaskets. I just called the dealership here in Santa Barbara. They have them in stock, so we're gonna go pick those up and we're gonna swap these out as well. So luckily, Clue, you got lucky. We were able to find this out before we actually blew up your motor. So lucky for you that we were gonna swap the timing cover out and found this issue before it actually became a real serious problem. But look at that, it's already sticking out like crazy. That part, well, I just broke it off. So this one was sticking out a little bit right there, but nothing too bad. But if you're gonna replace that one, gotta do both. So let's go to the dealership, pick up those parts, and swap out the gallery gaskets. All right, so we got the gallery gasket in, the new one. That's how it's supposed to look like, not with the gasket sticking out from the sides. So we have the edges all cleaned up, scuffed up, and we use brake cleaner to make sure all the oil was off of it. Same with the new polished one. So let's get started on adding some gasket maker. Oil resistant, of course, has to be. I'm supposed to be using ultra gray just so it blends in, but nowhere out here has ultra gray, so you have to use ultra black, and we're on a time limit, so we can't be too picky with it. So let's get started on putting this on and throw the new polished timing cover on, along with the oil pan, which I have somewhere over there on the table. Gonna throw that one on as well. And then we got the cam covers powder coated. Those are gonna go on as well with some new metal gaskets. So let's get started on putting this whole front end back together, let it cure for a little while, for quite a few hours, and then we'll add oil, start it, make sure that we got no oil leaks coming out, and then we'll put the whole front end back together. All right, look at this thing. Holy damn. Looks so damn good. So we finally got all the cooling system back on, the radiator support is back on. We got the new Mishimoto radiator on there, the Masterpiece titanium coolant tank, radiator hose, and power steering tank as well. So those are all made out of titanium. Later on, we are getting custom one-off valve covers that'll be going on here on the sides. Those will be made out of titanium as well. So those are definitely going to be custom one-offs. I have this one bolt here for no reason. But other than that, car is basically ready to go. I just want to start it up, make sure we don't got any coolant leaks, and double check for any oil leaks. So other than that, basically it's ready to go, and then we'll get the front bumper back on, because tomorrow this thing heads off for Spokane. All right, so we got everything tidied up. No coolant leaks, no oil leaks. So we're gonna let this get up to temp, make sure the fans, thermostat, everything goes off how it's supposed to, and then we'll put the front bumper back on. Fully done putting this thing back together. Look at that. Let's go. You excited? And just what we only have like 5 hours left for today, and then tomorrow's the show. So we just finished just in time. Everything polished up. Car runs perfectly fine. No overheating, no oil leaks, no coolant leaks. Ready to go.
Right?
Yeah, HR and VHR. Basically the same thing.
So, what we
got
did
George.
here... He's like...
So, we just came back from a quick test drive, making sure no overheating, but she's ready to go for Spokane tomorrow. Alright guys, so that's going to be the end of today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this transformation on this engine bay. Definitely a lot of work, but so well worth it, and more to come for that car. But more stuff coming soon, moving shop soon as I'm done wrapping this Camaro. Got some little teaser for Ruby, so a Ruby video coming soon. But again, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.